Hello everyone, thank you for joining ShineTalk. Welcome once again. This is where we get to talk to people around the planet and find out what their story is all about. And it's been a bit of a trek so far, getting this far in terms of technical things, all things technical. Yeah, I can tell you, trust me, what you're watching right now is no easy task. But after hours of persistence, we're here now, which means that we can cross immediately, live and direct, 180 degrees around the planet and speak with the one and only Miss Samira Wyld. Samira, hello, welcome to ShineTalk.
Hello, Martin. How are you?
You're definitely that far away because there's a delay.
Is there?
Yes, there is. Ha ha ha. Yes, an extra delay there by me, but absolutely, there's definitely a delay here. But we're not going to let the technology beat us, anything like that. It's been a bit crazy, hasn't it, over recent days, even weeks getting on for now. Of course, what with all this live streaming, everyone here watching right now live is on Periscope. Somewhere over there, they're also watching on Busker. And isn't it good? It's working.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Okay, great. Yeah, okay. Oh, it's going to be a short podcast. So tell me, it is our first official podcast after a little test recently, and all things seem to be going okay right here. So tell us, we met obviously on live streaming on another app, the Busker app. Must mention that because we want to let everyone know about it and what a great community is over there. Maybe more about that shortly. But in the meantime, we want to know a bit more about SamiraWyld.com and specifically, what does it mean when we're told that you're an author? You are into the spoken word and clairvoyant as well. Tell us more.
Well, I write speculative fiction, so I write novels and I write short stories and poems. I have directed some short plays. So the spoken word is part of that, so sort of, that's sort of like doing poetry slam type things. And and then I do the clairvoyance, so that's sort of the intuitive readings for people, which I offer via Skype. And so that's sort of like on the spiritual side of things.
This sounds quite... there, we're there, yes. Sounds like pictures flickering away there. That was good, you see. I think definitely there's some energy in the room here around me. I'm not sure about yourself, but all things spiritual. Tell me more about... let's start. Take a step back. But first of all, how long have you been aware of your sixth sense and all things spiritual?
Well, Martin, it probably goes back like many, many years. Like I remember having experiences around 3 or 4. So it's sort of like been off and on throughout the years, but I probably didn't start embracing it. It was a little bit different than other kids until I was about 11. I just thought it was normal.
11. Now there's an interesting number, if I say so myself. People that are following me on social media will know exactly what I mean. 11 is that very, very magical number, even though despite we know that 3 is also the magic number. But so about 11 years old, and what were the question marks that started sort of happening there and then?
Well, I suppose it was more about, I just grew up in a family to where all things a little bit strange or a little bit paranormal, or my mother was psychic and different things like that. So
I was going to say we all sort of grown up in some sort of strange family, something strange somewhere along the lines. But your mother was paranormal as well, into the paranormal as well, and she was aware of her sixth sense, yeah. Yeah,
so it was very normal. Like I just thought that was a normal part of life until you start sort of like going to school and you start talking to different people, and then you start to realize that there's maybe it's not quite so normal, suddenly you start to feel a little bit strange.
Now, you're using this word normal, of course, and we don't like using that here, certainly at ShineTalk.
I don't like using that word. Yeah.
I'd say regular sort of is possible, a possible better alternative. But, as we know, there is no such thing as normal. Okay, there's the majority,
Absolutely.
sure, and the regular things and the expected. But of course, we're talking here about the unexpected when you're young. And of course, some people must think you're a bit loopy at that age. When I mean, obviously, children, yeah, they will have their magical mystery friends, their imaginary friends, that sort of thing. But yeah, it was a bit more than that for yourself, obviously. So it must be a bit of a task trying to have other people understand you and what you're trying to say.
I was considered an outsider, really, in school, because I was a little bit strange, or I was a little bit weird, or I had a very overactive imagination, is what people used to say. So that's when I started to realise that, okay, maybe this is not what I thought was usual. I realised wasn't. So I suppose that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Usual is another good word as well, of course. So, how did things develop? What happened? I mean, you started to discover yourself in a different way, in a way that was different to others. How did that sort of manifest? How did that move forward? If there weren't people there to support you as much as you'd liked, I think that's partly what you're saying as well, isn't it?
Yes and no, it just made me feel a bit more of an outsider in school. Mm-hmm. So, so I guess I fell into that whole, being bullied and things like that at school. But in my home, with my family, my mother and my grandmother and my aunties, it was very much just a usual way of life. It wasn't questionable.
Right. No, absolutely.
So I had that support there. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So okay, you had the support at home and that sort of thing. So that was good, obviously. But again, I mean, at school, how did you sort of lessen the blow, so to speak, and to get people to understand you a little bit better? Or did you have to kind of suppress that side of you until you left school? Is that possibly what happened there?
Absolutely, I did. Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah, because I just went through the whole bully thing, so it was just like, I just, as I say, I was an outsider, so I just stayed on the outside, I suppose, really.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that too, but of course we're not saying that that's ideal. Far from it. And even today, I mean, if someone's at school now and they're a little bit different to the rest, and we're all conditioned by the teachers, and they try their best to condition us, in a certain way. What is that all about? We're not all the same, and it's almost. Okay. We are being conditioned so that when we exit our education, we are equal. Well, we know that doesn't happen anyway, whether it's a sports day and there are winners as well as losers and losers as well as winners and in-betweeners. I mean, all this thing about, it's the taking part, not the winning. We know that that isn't strictly true, because, of course, as soon as you leave school the next day into the big wide world, it's dog eat dog, and you've got to be better than the next person. Otherwise, they're going to quickly snap up, the gold at the end of the rainbow, quite frankly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, well, we're in agreement. Great, excellent. So, how did you develop everything after school when it comes to this side of things, the spiritual side? How did it progress?
Well, there was probably a time in my life that so probably in my early teens, I probably was trying to shut the door on it in some respect, because I wanted to fit in more with my peers at school.
Okay, yeah.
For a little while, I probably started re-embracing it again around 17, 18.
Yes.
And I did an awful lot of reading on the subject to try and understand what was going on, what was I experiencing, because while it was an accepted thing in my family, I needed to know more. I wanted to understand what was happening and what I was experiencing and how I could be of service to other people through having this,
Yeah,
and not to be afraid of it.
That's a good point as well, isn't it? Absolutely. Don't be afraid of it. Just because others haven't explained it to you as being normal, regular, and it's different, doesn't mean to say that it's something negative as well. That's a very good point, I would say, to people out there. And again, something I repeat on social media, we are only as intelligent as our most intelligent scientists and the best scientists in the world. But unfortunately, for us and for them, they're only human. So they don't know, they've only got certain senses, the 5 senses, like most people. So, and they kind of go by the textbooks as well. And isn't it interesting? It often takes someone who's not following the rule books to discover something new. And then all of a sudden the world sort of looks around and it's like, hang on a minute, have we got it wrong here? Is it true? The world, it's not flat? Could that be possible? And that happens more and more. Again, ironically, I will go back to the technology side of things as well. That's happening as we speak. Silicon Valley or Silicon Roundabout, Tech City in London, for example. There are people out there that think out the box. They come up with new ideas, new solutions and remedies when it comes to all things technical. And it's only once they've thought out of the box that everyone's like, wait a minute here, they're onto something. And it's called disruptive technology right now, when it comes to developing software, computer apps, all that sort of thing. But I think generally though, life's the same in every area that we walk, breathe, live and do, don't you think?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Very true. So, absolutely. Yeah.
So, and again, it's unfortunate because personally, I'm interested to know where that bridge, where the gap is bridged when it comes to these textbooks, individuals that have been to Cambridge and Oxford universities here in London, in England even rather, or close to London and not too far away, and all these other prestigious educational establishments. But where do they meet? At what point in life, in time, and generally in the educational process and structure? When do they sort of start interacting with these people that are thinking out the box? And because again, I move on to the word and term creative as well. A lot of people that have experienced what you experience, definitely creative people, whether it's artists, they're more musical and more positive as well, of course, and spiritual, to use that term. So where do these people meet and have these conversations and kind of swap knowledge and open each other's eyes really from a different angle?
Well, yeah. But you just actually touched on something, Martin. Though, if I can actually go back to that,
yeah.
When you were talking about, all the different things, when I was talking about growing up as a child and stuff, you were talking about the creative, and I just wanted to touch on that a little bit because when I was going through all the stages, sort of like feeling the outsider, that's when I actually became very interested in writing. I mean, obviously I was very keen on reading. I've always, read all my life. But I kind of suppose I withdrew into myself and I wrote stories. And so storytelling became my way of dealing with all this outside stuff. So I just wanted to bring that in so you could see where sort of like the author side has come from as well. And that's a young age to where I just had journals and journals and journals. So I just wanted to.
No, absolutely, because of course this is kind of a fiction that you deal with as well. So it's kind of escapism and again very creative writing.
Yes.
Yeah. Can we just switch to that at the moment? Because again, obviously in the future we'll delve into all these subjects a little bit more in detail. But what about the writing then at the moment? What's going on there, and how's that all progressed to 2016 so far?
Well, so far, as I said, I've written a lot of novels and short stories and everything. But at the moment, I'm in the process of self-publishing a collection of poems, and I'm also going to be self-publishing 2 short stories. They have won honorary mentions in the US, but they weren't picked up, so I'm going to self-publish them. So. Early 2017.
So what was that? We just missed that little bit there about 2017, what you were saying, sorry.
Well, that's when I'll be getting the 2 short stories and the collection of poems published will be in early 2017.
Right. Okay. So, oh wow, and that's not too far away as we're recording this right now. I know.
Not very far.
What is it? A month or so, and we're 2017. Let's not even go there at the moment. I mean, time. That's another thing, isn't it? Is it in our minds? Is it not? It's just going very, very fast at the moment,
very
for
fast.
sure. So yeah, definitely. So listen, we've had a very sort of brief introduction so far today. If people want to know more about Samira Wyld, even if they want their own readings, for example, and we haven't even touched really on the fact that the cards you read, obviously there are tarot cards out there, plenty of people into that, but you're more into something a little different. Do you want to just briefly touch on that?
Yes, well, I use oracle cards. Sometimes I do use tarot cards, but I read differently. So I don't read a traditional tarot. I do what I call intuitive readings. And so that is using the cards, but also working with the person's energy and then my guides as well, spirit, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Yeah, so because I'm clairvoyant and clairaudient, I see things, I feel things, I hear things. So I've got all those senses, and so they come into the reading as well. And I use the cards as a tool to help, give me the guidance for the client.
Right. Yeah, that
they may have a specific question, or they may have something that they sort of like want clarity on, or assistance with. Yeah.
Sure. Now, if people want to connect with you more about all of that, then obviously we can do so. We know that you're definitely around on social media at the moment, getting to grips with all this new phenomenon, something like that. This new phenomenon of live streaming. Well, it's new in the fact that everyone can do it now. It's very accessible from your portable mobile digital device. It's been around for ages, for at least a decade easily, but as I say, it's been brought to everyone's attention, certainly by the way of all these mobile platforms now, and social media integration is a very key thing there when it comes to live streaming. So if they want to connect with you, of course they've got your website, which is
SamiraWyld.com. So that's Wyld, W-Y-L-D.
Yep.
And so, all the information's there about who I am, my background, what I offer, how to contact me, etc. It's all there.
Great. Yeah, and it's on the screen.
I've got links to my Facebook page. And I'm on Twitter and everything else.
You are indeed. You're on Periscope, Twitter. You're on this Busker app as well. That's what I was coming to. Busker is another it's a great community and a great streaming platform. Excellent picture quality, I hasten to add, from the guys there at Busker. That's Busker, and you can go to the App Store, whether it's iOS or on your Android device, and check it out there. I suggest download it, certainly, because I am on it as well, and we do have some fun there as well. It's a very positive community, and you can keep in touch with us, or some of us, daily. And there's some I was just reminded, of course, we've got people out there with travel channels and shows showing you around their city that they live in, and then you've got people like myself. Well, I do that sometimes, obviously, but you just get insight into what's going on daily, and we just have a bit of a laugh between ourselves as well, and talk about things that, well, you might not necessarily hear spoken about elsewhere. And I'll leave that to your imagination, what I mean there, but don't read too far into it. It's just those interesting things, we all end up having to brush our teeth in the morning, and decide is it that pair of socks? Well, it's not quite like that, but it's a load of fun. Just go there and you'll understand when you download. And of course, as well as on Facebook as well, that's the other thing, you're developing a new Facebook page. I just wanted to just highlight, aren't you?
Yes, it's actually up and running, the Facebook page. Yes.
Excellent.
And there's links on my website to it, so yeah.
Great. So there we are. Okay, it is SamiraWyld.com. This has been Samira Wyld from Brisbane in Australia. Thank you, Samira.
Thank you so much, Martin. It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you here. It's been a rather proper little chat that we've had today, rather than all the craziness that, as I say, Samira and I, just so you know, everyone, we met on the live streaming app, and again, Busker, I don't know, they're going to have to start certainly tipping us now for all this publicity that we're giving them. But yeah, we met on social media, and the rest really is history. So that's how I'm going to leave it for now. If you want to know more, tune in again. When we're talking, Samira will be back here again on ShineTalk, talking about more things to do with the spiritual side, certainly, and her writing, and also the the spoken word as well. When it comes to poems as well, I've just got to get that sort of that little twinge of the poems as opposed to poems.
Poems,
yes.
Yes. Well, that's the thing, because I do spoken word on Busker as well, as you know.
I do, and of course, just because we speak English, it doesn't mean that everyone understands us. In Australia, in England, and in the Americas, it's a little bit of a crazy one, that when it comes to accents. Listen, Samira, thanks very much for joining us. We're out of here. We're out of time, and we'll speak soon.
Thanks so much, Martin.
Thank you as well, and it's goodbye Australia, and it's goodbye to everyone else from London too. Thanks for watching. Check out Shine Stream and ShineTalk again very soon. And don't forget to like, follow on all social media platforms. Bye bye for now.